Hello everyone. This is Jana from the Endless Blue podcast. We explore the benefits of diving into the ocean and into yourself. Let's rethink how we deal with ourselves and our existence. Hello everyone. Hope you're great. Here's Jana from the Endless Blue podcast. And today, it's interesting. I'm not at the ocean. Actually, I'm in Patagonia. And I just came back from a trip to Puerto Blest, which is I think it's the first national park in Argentina. And it's just nature, you know. There is when you come there with a boat, there is one restaurant, but then you walk through nature. And I came back and I was so recharged. And that made me think about freediving and how freediving provides that way to reconnect with nature in such a beautiful and natural way. So you just need a mask and a snorkel. If it's warm water like we're gonna do this summer in Greece, you won't even need a wetsuit, and you can make no fins and just jump in like that. And you just can fuse down into nature, just equalizing, holding your breath and going deeper step by step and just getting a part of it again. And yeah, today that really reminded me that we are just part of that big, wonderful planet, and we so often forget about it. And I'm always joking because we lived last year, we lived in Sagres, which, and yeah, not even in Sagres, but in a small village before Sagres, which I don't know how many inhabitants, but yeah, we saw in our small village, we had one road, 2-3 grannies and grandpa sitting there, which we said every day, bon dia, good morning. And yeah, that was basically it. And we're also living in a marine reserve and natural reserve. And sometimes, Tommy is from the city. He was born in Buenos Aires and he loved the city. And so we went to, I don't know, to Lagos or to Portimao to get out of the bubble. And we were always joking Tommy's oh, I'm back in the real world. It's and I was no, we're not in the real world. The real world for me is nature. And I'm wondering how you see that. Because it's our blue, wonderful planet. And here where I am in the moment, it's super green. And it just reminds me to connect with myself and with the wonderful planet, and that we are really a part of it. And yeah, I also do that every day with my breath. It's my daily practice if I'm in the city or so, because we still have our body, which is part of nature. If we are in the concrete jungle, I'm going back to Buenos Aires next week, and there I always have the tool of the breath to connect with myself and the wonderful planet we're living on. And yeah, and if I go to the city, of course, I'm going to enjoying other things like seeing family and friends and going into bookstores and museums. And, it's not about saying that's bad, but for me, just nature is just such an empowering, grounding place. And I'm wondering how you see it if you go to nature. If you go, maybe you're just in Germany and go for a walk, or you're in the city and just pass by the trees or see the horizon at the river. If you feel about that, about getting out of contemporary stressful life and just connecting with yourself and the wonderful planet we're living on. And yeah, and I really invite every one of you for next summer to come visit us in Greece. It's going to be really warm and calm water, so perfect conditions for free diving. We're going to have our own little boats. We're going to do it with our own rhythm. I'm really looking forward to that as well, to be able, to make a wonderful breathing session. I'm really looking forward to make it quite early, so I'm wondering who is going to align with the sunrise, and then um, yeah, and then putting on the wetsuit and making, of course, some lane training or some freediving courses, but also just like making some fun dives around the island, in like bikini or swimsuit, and just enjoying this possibility of reconnecting with nature, slowing down. And freediving has that really in particular for me, because also if I prepare for a dive, or every time we prepare for a dive, we have to reconnect with our breath. It's very simple actually, because every breath, every thought, and every tension costs oxygen. So before we're going to start free diving, or we dive down in the deep, we always want to make sure to release every tension we have in the body and in the mind. And we do that with the breath. We just like exhale every tension we got, like, and just let it go. And then when we feel completely ready, we just take a full breath in and dive down and swim into this wonderful blue planet and get a part of it. And I didn't always know that I have like this tool, like the breath, or I didn't see it, that nature was just like recharging me so much. And maybe you're in the moment where you feel stressed and don't know how to reconnect, like with yourself, how to calm down. And yeah, if that's something you're really looking for, to learn, to breathe, and to connect with nature, I really got like two wonderful things where you could join me. I'm doing in April an online breathing course, and that breathing course is really made for you to have that possibility to reconnect to your natural part, to yourself, wherever you are, every day. So I always say you don't have to wait until life gets stressful to use that tool. I use it like to have myself always like taken care of before it gets stressful, or to have something what's like rooting me, especially in tricky times, or there's lots of work or lots of change. Like for in the moment, I'm like changing like my life, other again, like upside down everything. I was making the freediving courses in Portugal last year. It was working very, very good. But yeah, rents are high, and water conditions are challenging. So in the end, I really enjoyed it there, because it was also like a marine reserve, a natural park, and lots of cool people which came to dive with us. But yeah, it's just like, if you think about a business side, it's not like long-lasting, sustainable business, for me. I can do that a season or two, but it's very tiring with the harsh conditions, and then, yeah, it's just not sustainable for me. So we decided, so we're gonna go to Greece next year and gonna like start from scratch. And instead of like lots of friends say to me like, oh my God, and that's so much changes. And it is, because now we're in Argentina, and then Patagonia as well, and then we go back, and there's a lot of steps which are coming like for me until I get even to Greece to start the season. But I maintain my balance through my breath, when I can't get in the water and when I can't get into nature. Today was just like so amazing. I was like, for me the breath is like that baseline which I have every day, and like going into nature is like, for me, like freediving, of course, my favorite, but going into nature, like the forest, gives me that same feeling of like really like, whoo, I'm back at my center. And yeah, and so I do that every day as a baseline, like brushing my teeth. I do my morning meditation, and it's just so helpful for me to clear my mind before the day starts. I really do it. I get up, drink a glass of water, prepare my breakfast, And then I really sit down and meditate, and I don't start cleaning the house or, checking emails or the phone. No, no, I really start the day breathing. I always put that on my stories, and I'm really sticking to that. I think it's now like almost 1.5 years where I haven't missed a day. And yeah. And for me, the workshop which I'm going to give online is really about learning you to breathe. You use the breath for yourself, that you, in the best way, don't need me anymore. Probably I will have in the future again a weekly session where we can meet together, But this is like really a profound workshop where I'm really gonna teach you all the wisdom which I learned in the ocean and took to firm land. And then I'm using Kundalini pranayamas, which is really amazing because um, there are hundreds, I don't know even how much. I have a thick book of just pranayamas. And so I use Kundalini meditations, but just actually the ones which use the breath. And there are so many different ways to use it. Like in the moment, I'm making the 1 minute breath, which is really a cool meditation. So the goal is to make 20 seconds inhale, 20 seconds hold, and 20 seconds exhale. But you can start with like 10 seconds in, 10 seconds hold, and 10 seconds out. It's just important that you keep the ratio the same. You can sit in easy pose and your eyes can focus on the third eye. And you just take full breath in. So always remember first the belly, then the chest. Then you hold and relax. And then you exhale first the chest and then the belly. Okay, and all of them, in this case, are through the nose. And when you finish the meditation, you take a full breath in, put the hands over the head, and you tune out. And yeah, that's like in the moment, my morning meditation, which keeps me grounded through all the changes, and which brings me just to the here and now, to the present, to see how, how blessed I am, that I just can, move freely from one country to the other, and have so much family and friends around the world. And yeah, so I really hope with that, giving on that like breathing techniques, that it's gonna help you so much as it did for me. For me, it really changed the way I deal with myself, but also with life in general. I'm not perfect. I'm not trying to say that. But it just brought me on such a beautiful journey where I start seeing myself from a different perspective. And I start seeing, how better say, what is there for me, what is helping me on my journey, instead of always wanting more and wanting this and wanting that. It works as well, like visualizing things and getting somewhere. But I figured out, just like when I really stopped resisting to what's given, for me, my journey really unfolded. And I always was resisting to open a freediving school, And last year was the small start of it, with Blue Freediving in Sagres. And I remember in the summer, I don't know if you saw, but I did some freediving courses in the Bavarian Alp Lakes. I did that already third year. And my friends were like, whoa, and you made it, and you did it. So cool, congrats. And I was like, hey, thank you. And you know what's the interesting thing? It just unfolded because I stopped resisting. I stopped resisting to what's there for me. I stopped, like, my mind, I could catch my mind and sit there with it every morning and tell it, okay, is your fear real or is it illusion? Are you capable, or is that just like in your head? And I mean by that, not like pushing through it. I mean just getting back to reality, to the here and now, and really seeing with the objective point of view if that's possible or not. And too many times in life we think about things black and white, and it just showed me that there are so many little steps which you can start when you have a goal, no matter what. One time I read a really cool quote from, oh, I forgot the name, but it's a guy, another water photographer from Hawaii, and he lost his leg in a shark attack. And he said, "You can do anything, but not everything." And I think that's a very powerful quote, because I also noticed by myself, if I try to do everything, it doesn't really work so well, or it works really slow. And I really have a lot of things which I'm working on. I mean, photography, of course, free diving. Then I have my hobby surfing as well, which is always there. Not getting the full attention it sometimes I would like to give it, but okay, it's there. But I'm trying at least for a certain time or a certain season to focus on one thing to make it grow. And then I really see that it starts to flourish. And saying it starts to flourish, I always have to say, you have really to look out that if you want to flourish, that all of your areas of your life are going to be observed. What do I mean by that? I mean that, like, your family, your relationships, money, food, for me is a big one, sleep. And yeah, if all the things which are like related to you are getting imbalanced, then you can start to flourish in whichever way your way is. I really think everybody has its own journey in this life. And yeah, and the breath, if I take it every day and try to get objective and not get in my ego, I can start like step by step going forward in my life. And that's just a beautiful gift. And that's why I'm so like, passionate about giving it on, because of course it's, for freediving, and it taught me so much in freediving and teaches me the meditation. It makes me a much more relaxed way to dive. It helps me to dive deeper in a wonderful way. But it's also something I'm passionate about to bring to firm land, to bring all these techniques which in the ocean showed me that I'm much more capable than I thought, to firm land. I mean, when I made the defense of my master thesis, so my master thesis was called "A Liminal Experience Under the Surface of the Ocean," and I wrote about all that transformative experience, and especially about the tools which helped me to get there, which was the still point, is getting the mind still and calm into the present moment, getting out of past future thinking, about the mind game, which is the big question: what do you think you're capable of, and what are you really capable of? And then also an important one is focus. Like I said before, you can do anything but not everything. If you start to focus on something for a certain amount of time, you're going to grow in that aspect. And yeah, in that defense of my master thesis, in the end, my professor, professor asked me how those techniques from the ocean could benefit in a social and political way. Actually, I didn't know what to respond in that moment, and I didn't. But thinking about it so long after, I just want to say that I think when we're just much more connected with ourselves and aware about our thinking and about our doing, we start to get better people, and we start to see also the other people and not just ourselves, because it's easy to blame the other ones and say we are all perfect. But there's that famous saying, no, if you're sitting in a glass house, throw the first stone. Yeah, and so sitting here in my wonderful platform in the forest in Patagonia, have spent that wonderful day in nature, in a natural park, probably the first one in Argentina. I just want to take a deep breath and be grateful for that wonderful day, and just encourage you to reconnect through the breath with yourself and with this wonderful planet we're living on. Go into nature. If you can't come the ocean now, use the breath, connect with nature. See how beautiful you are and how beautiful that wonderful planet is. Lots of love. And yeah, I'm wondering what you find it. And if you come by, I would really be super happy. So, this for today. I wish you a wonderful day.